people. This is Jan. I hope everybody's good. I'm here with an energy update for the twin flames and an overall energy update of what's going on. I'm a psychic medium, energy healer, and here we go. Um, let's start with the twin flame energy update. We are still in the Mercury retrograde, and I know that a lot of people are very tired. Some of you perhaps at this time are feeling like you're halfway through or at the beginning of the rise, like you're feeling this shift happening within you, and you know that you're going on the easier side instead of being on the way to the bottom, if I can say it this way. So that's good news. Others just feel like everything is upside down, collapsing, difficult. And that's totally normal because there are so many things going on with the divine masculine. A lot of them are being just abruptly awakening. Some of them are starting to remember who they truly are. And like I mentioned in my last video, I was saying that a lot of them will just look back and say, oh my God, who was I to do all these things or to say or to think all these things before? So this is in progress right now for a lot of people, for a lot of divine masculine. And I'm not only referring to the masculine person, but the masculine aspect, energy aspect that we all have in ourselves, but I'm referring to the divine masculine energy. So you are, even if you are a female, you are feeling this somehow on different levels, but the divine masculine, the twin that was not awakened already or barely awakened, this is who I'm talking about, mainly because the major steps are happening with them. But if you are the awakened twin, you are feeling this and you have a lot of shifts happening in you and you have a lot of changes happening in your life and coming also. It's not about, it's not, I mean, it's in progress, in movement. There's this constant movement, which is the flow of life, which is energy, and everything is always moving. Because when you stop, you fall. So there's no way that you can just stop. I mean, they're standing still. We hear that a lot. Stand still, do nothing. But do nothing doesn't mean stop the progress or stop working on yourself or stop being aware of yourself. No, it just means stand still. Don't make any extreme moves, extreme decisions, extreme movements. Just stay grounded and just follow the way, follow the flow, keep on, being on a straight line and just follow. So for the divine masculine who is remembering who they are, that means many different things depending where people are on their journey. A lot of them are remembering their divine self. So what that means is that some things have been moved out and other things have been activated. And I'm going to talk about it just a little later in the video, but that's mainly the 13 strand DNA healing or 13 strings DNA healing. It's an activation of the nervous system. And that's what it means. That's when you reach a level where you're a psychic, where you connect with energies, and that comes in many layers. It doesn't happen all at once, otherwise it would be a traumatizing experience for the physical body. So a lot of divine masculine are going through this, and what that means is that if they are at the beginning of their journey, they're just releasing very old perceptions and thought patterns, and they're starting to see things very differently for higher or better perspective, which is awesome news. Some of them are opening their heart for the first time. Some of them are aligning their heart with their thoughts for the first time. Because what has been happening is that the divine masculine was ruled or operating on a mental level, and there was no space or time for this anymore. Everybody needs to operate from a heart level. So a lot of them are just being guided to go into their hearts and align heart and mind together to, be guided and receive divine information. It is also a big time for clarity. A lot of them are seeing things very differently. It goes with what I just said. They're receiving clarity. As if before they were stuck, they were like in mud or feet in cement, unable to move, unable to see things properly, unable to let go, to just let go. They would just be stuck in old programming that were hurting themselves. A lot of divine masculine have been hurt by these false programs, and they were unable to move or to see it differently. And now all of this is changing, which is very, very, very good news. Like they're finally aligning with their divine guidance. They're aligning with the universe. That's the best way to describe it. They're aligning with the universe. It doesn't mean that the work is done. In my opinion, the work is never done, because we constantly grow, we constantly change, and life happens. We are thrown or put into situations that will require us to keep working on ourselves. But there is this time where we reach this state of balance, inner balance. It's a state where you know yourself enough that you recognize your own patterns and you're able to stop them before creating all kinds of mistakes or negative experiences or karma. The label is really not important, and you're able to just stop that pattern and replace it with something positive in order to create your own reality. So really, I mean, in the past 15 years or so, perhaps closer to 20, but let's say 15 to 20 years, we have been in this huge wave of psychosomatics, being that we create our own reality. Yes, we do. Absolutely. We create, but we co-create our reality. We're not doing this alone, and I'm not talking about you co-create with your twin. Of course you do, but you co-create with God, with universe, with this life force, with source, with that energy up there, this intelligent energy. That's how you co-create. So it's not only a mental aspect. We have different bodies. We have the emotional body, we have the mental body, the physical body, and the spiritual. So for the past 15 to 20 years, we've been stuck in this psychosomatic wave, talking about how physical symptoms or diseases are directly coming from the mental body, which is half true. There is a big part to this that have been missed with most doctors, just regular medical doctors, by most therapists, psychologists, osteopath, physiotherapist, physical healer included, mental and physical healer included. And that missing part is spirituality. You don't create a disease from your mental body. You create a disease from your spiritual body by being misaligned with the universe, by being misaligned with what your soul wants, with your true self. That's how you create diseases. And then if you're in a twin flame connection, well, then you can pick up stuff coming from your twin that can create in your physical reality a whole bunch of symptoms, including diseases, physical diseases. For example, if your twin, oh, I don't know what example to use, but let's say your twin, he eats very badly, fast food all the time, and that you're getting acid reflux, or you have an upset stomach all the time, but you eat well and there's no explanation to this. It's spirituality. The answer is in your twin flame connection. Now, what to do about it is a different story, because there is many things that can be used to harmonize this. There's not one recipe for all. It's not a one size fit all here, because we're all different people with different history in a similar vehicle, which is the body. But what happened on or in our emotional bodies, mental bodies, and spiritual bodies is a totally different story for each and every one of us. And this is our own job to clear that. So to go back to our own childhood and this life to clear it, but also past lives and other dimensions, to connect to higher dimensions, to know what's in our highest good in order to heal all these bodies. Because if only one layer or body is healed, the others won't heal. That's not the way it works. All of them must be addressed. All of them. So perhaps if you're stuck with physical symptoms that are not healing, maybe looking at different dimensions is a good idea, because the root of the problem must be coming from one of these areas. And if you were not born and raised in a spiritual family or surrounded with spiritual people, perhaps you don't have the information to help you. And there's so many different information out there that we need to be careful what we read. But this 13 string DNA or strand DNA activation, I haven't found many information on that, but I was able to get a lot of spiritual information from my own channeling, but also confirmation and validation with a physical healer and osteopath. And I've had a very interesting conversation on this. In the body, there is actually 13 nerves in the head. They call it the cranial nerves. This system is used in osteopathy. Sorry for the way I said it, but osteopath use that. Acupuncturists use that as well. Any Oriental medicine is using that. Eastern medicine is using that. There are 13 nerves in the head. One of them is specifically used for things that we don't see, we don't touch, we just feel. Like the pheromones, for example. We cannot see it, we cannot smell them, but we sense them. When that nerve is activated, we become psychics. And being a psychic can be different for different people, but when we activate that nerve, it means that we are opened to our true divinity. We are opened to our soul path. We are open to this two-way street in between ourselves, our physical body, and source or the universe. This is what it means. So at this time, the beautiful news is that a lot of divine masculine are going through this. And I did say that when that 13th strand is activated, you become a psychic, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you become psychic, that you can do reading. It just means that those layers and those levels are opened up for you, whatever it means for your mission. Not everyone is meant to be a psychic. Some people are meant to know specific things about specific information about a specific topic. Plants, for example. Animals. So perhaps you've been activated and you're still working on that, because that's a lifelong process, in my opinion. I don't think you never are done with this. It's something you need to keep working on. This is my personal opinion, because I don't have the absolute truth on this. So the divine masculine is being activated on those levels, as if before these levels were blocked and unable to be opened, and now they are, and or starting to. And depending on the spiritual level of the divine masculine, some of them are coming into their gifts, their psychic gifts. Some of them are just coming into their own awareness of who they are, what they want, where they want to go, what they need to do. So that means that they're letting go of all things that were wrong for them, and they realize it. They're like, oh my God, how was I able to be in this kind of situation? That makes no sense. I see now, and I realize now that I was not meant to be in this situation. For example, a karmic relationship. I was not meant to be with this person. I had to learn something from this person, but now it's time to move on. And this is perfect timing with the end of the year. It's the way it's supposed to be, because we need to start brand new, clean slate in January 2018. New year. It's time for something new, new energies. So it's really good news what's going on with the divine masculine, and they are remembering, and it can go really, really far. Depending where they're at on their journey, they can start remembering past lives. They can start remembering what happened in their own past lives, what happened in your past lives together, if you have met before in a past life. They may start remembering if you've met your twin, in the physical, and you've been in contact with them physically, and if something happened and now you're not in contact anymore, they are remembering these situations, these conversations. They are remembering what happened. What happened? Why is this situation the way it is right now? And if perhaps in the past they have refused to see your side of things and your perspective and your perceptions and your truth, they are now seeing it very differently, or starting to anyway. They are starting to see it your way. They are starting to see it the divine way. And my heart feels so light when I'm saying this, because this is a very amazing news for the Twin Flame Collective. And not only the twin flames, but for everybody, because that was creating a lot of resistance and resentment and chaos. And it means that it's on the way out, which is beautiful. I have the chills, which is beautiful. They are not now starting to remember and starting to see, wow, I did that. How was I able to do that? So if lately you've been having feelings of guilt, perhaps it wasn't you. Perhaps it was your twin, just remembering and feeling guilty about some things. So if you've been feeling that and you see that it's not really going away, you can try to clear it and just, ask for support from your spiritual team or yourself, and just ask to clear it. There was also a lot of anger, being angry without knowing why. If you've been feeling this, that was your twin, or maybe part of you too, but it was probably your twin feeling angry at this situation and feeling angry at their own self. You know how when you realize your actions and you feel the guilt, the anger, because you did that, you created that, and then the next logical step is to just let it go. Forgiveness, allowing for forgiveness, moving on, and repairing the situation. I believe that every situation that didn't have a positive outcome needs to be repaired. Otherwise, you carry that in your energy. You create dharma, you create karma. Dharma being something that you do to yourself, karma being something that you have with others. So if you don't repair it, the energy is still there and it's not cleared. You can do it in the energetic levels, clear it there, but doing it physically with the person is the best way that I can think of, but that's my opinion. After the situation is repaired, you're making space for other stuff, for new things to happen. So a lot of things at this time that are going on all different levels. It's not only in the energetic levels, we are going through this in the physical levels as well, integrating a lot of these energies into our own body, into our nervous system, and that's painful. It can be very painful. It comes with body pains. So if your twin, for example, had a lot of work to do on their heart chakra, perhaps you've been having a lot of pain in your chest, in your arms as well, because the pain does travel all the way down to your fingers. And same thing for every chakra that we have in our body. We are totally expanding on that level. We have 7 major chakras, but there are many, many more. We have a lot more above our heads, above the crown chakra. We have many more, and we are moving towards activating those chakras. So for anyone out there who's an energy healer, this is what we're looking at for the near future, is to activate those chakras for other people, the people that will come to you for healing, especially the one on top of the crown chakra. There is one on the ground as well to help us ground better. Sorry. If I go back to that 13-strand DNA activation, I did mention that it's an activation. So the way it works, the way I understand it, I'm not claiming to say that there's only one way to activate this. I'm not claiming to know the absolute truth when it comes to this, but this is based on what I know, my experience, and I do like to exchange with other people on that subject. And like I mentioned, I did have a very amazing conversation with, excuse me, with a physical healer on that. And he did confirm so many things and knowledge that I did not have because I didn't study physical healing. I'm more into the energies, and it's all linked together. The problem on the planet is that people don't make the link. People don't see the link. People don't see the bridge in between the two, in between science and spirituality, where science ends, spirituality begins. That's the way it works. And once we all make that link or that bridge or understand that there is a relationship between the two, much less people will be sick. Diseases will not go away, because I believe that as long as we have a human physical body, there will always be diseases, but it will be there will be much less diseases, much less chaos, resentment, destructions, because there is a link. There's a link between the two. So the 13th strand or strings, whatever, it's all related to the nervous system that we have in our brain and in our head, in our mental body. And each string or strand represents something. And the whole point of this is to activate all 13. We are born with some of these strand or string, I'm sorry, already activated. The whole point is to activate the last one, the 13th one, which is, like I briefly mentioned, the one that is related to sensory experiences. The ones animals have that activated already. They do feel when the storm is coming. They do feel when someone has bad intention. I'm sure a lot of you have a dog who can sense someone's energy. That's the 13th string. That's the one that needs to be activated to be perfectly aligned with your soul. If it's not activated, there is interference. It doesn't mean that messages don't come through, that your guidance doesn't come through. That's not what it means at all. It just means that it's not optimal. And for it to be optimal, it needs to be activated. And there are different ways to do so. You can reach out to an energy healer. I know that there are a few programs out there to teach you how to activate it. You can reach out to an energy healer. You can try it with acupuncture, and you can try it with an osteopath if that person has that kind of training. But be careful. If you're not ready, be careful, because if you do try anything other than the energetic treatments, meaning the physical treatments, you can have a lot of physical sensations that you won't be able to understand, or you can have it can come with a lot of symptoms afterwards, and then it calms down. So it really depends on what kind of person you are. If you're highly, highly sensitive, perhaps going the energetic levels is wiser, because choosing the physical level, it does comes with so many physical sensations that are not always comfortable. Not always comfortable. It can be painful. It can just be like weird sensations that it's not fun to have. So not the best thing to do if you have to work, or if you have to, be functional, because it can perhaps take a lot of energy and keep you from being able to work or go on about your daily life. If you do reach out to an energy healer, that person, sorry, that person should be able to just activate it for you, and then you do the rest. That person won't be able to give you all the instruction manual to tell you how to go about it, because this is personal to you. There is also another way to activate that, is by yourself. I activated it by myself. It takes time. But then again, it doesn't mean that if you reach out to a healer that it will take less time. Not at all. So if you do it by yourself, the way to do it, first of all, you need to be ready. You need to feel that it resonates with you. You need to feel that what I'm saying right now is resonating with you. And you need to be ready for the work that comes with it, because you open a door and it will come with some work, and perhaps releasing some stuff, healing some stuff, and learning, and just being able to be aware of your own things, your own body, your own mental body, spiritual body, and emotional body. So to activate it by yourself is basically to ask your spiritual guides and teams to help you. There's different ways you can do this. If you meditate, you can do it in meditation and just ask. Just ask. Just say, I'm ready. I'm ready to open up or activate this portion of myself. I'm ready to know. I'm ready to move forward. Please show me what I need to do. And then you're going to be shown. You're going to know. You're going to have that inner knowing. If you connect to your intuition, you're going to have that inner knowing of what to do. Most of the time, it's just to let it happen. And it will happen on its own. And that's where you can get some very weird physical symptoms, like when the sun is too bright, the sounds are too loud. It's very related to ascension, because that's what it is. It's an ascension of the soul and the body. So when it does get activated, everyone will react differently. I know that to me, it felt like I was a snake shedding my skin. I could see it in my body, my nails, my hair, my skin. And I was also seeing it in my emotions, my thoughts. My thoughts started changing completely. For example, people who would get on my nerves before because of certain behaviors that they had suddenly didn't get on my nerves anymore. That was a very good sign that things were changing. I did no longer identify with my past, sorry, not my path, but my past, and the wounds that came from my past. I no longer identified with that. I was just looking at it and it was like, that chapter is done. Um, it's not in my energy field anymore. I do not respond to this anymore. I do not respond to these triggers anymore. So asking, just ask your spiritual team what you need to do to activate that, and that will have a beautiful mirror effect on your twin by rebound. So if that resonates with you, go ahead and try to explore that a little bit. Trust yourself. Trust what you get inside. It's a time that the planet is ready for that. We have reached that level. We also have reached the level of it's time to speak our truth. It's time to speak our truth. I mean, I know it's not a logical thing to think about educating everyone on twin flames, but speaking your truth with conviction will have a ripple effect on people. I'm not saying call everyone you know and tell them you're a twin flame. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you've been going through this for many years and it has brought problems, wounds, stuff that is not stuff that is very hard to explain outside of spirituality, and that people, especially if people that think that you're crazy, well, speak your truth. Just stand in it. Speak your truth with conviction. I'm not saying try to convince them that you're right and they're not. That's not what I am saying just speak your truth and let other people think what they want and move on, move forward. That's how things will change. That's how we will help raise the planet's vibrations and the people's vibrations. I know I've been speaking my truth for a while now, for a few years, and sometimes it took turns that I wish didn't happen. Sometimes it took beautiful turns. And in the past week, I've had many very interesting conversation on that. Especially, I had one where this person was a total skeptic before. Not skeptic, but that person kept a little distance between what I was saying and what he was understanding. And now he has reached a level of all of a sudden he understands the mirror effects. He understands that everyone around us and in our lives are being mirrors to one another and to us. And that if you're in a twin flame connection, your twin is your perfect mirror and you are their perfect mirror to help each other grow. He all of a sudden understood that. He all of a sudden understood what it means to be a psychic, what it means to be spiritually awakened. He started from being half asleep because he was already a little bit awakened, but still were skeptical on a few things, to, yeah, I get it now. And I see this person on a weekly basis, or I speak to this person on a weekly basis, and the week before, they did not see this the same way. So only in 7 days, and I don't know, maybe it happened earlier in the week, but only in 7 days, this person went through a huge shift. So I'm saying this because I know a lot of twin flames are exhausted, tired, they want to give up. No, it's not the time to give up. It's the time to just push through, push harder, push through it. Just like if you're training physically, when you get tired, you don't stop. If you want to grow these muscles and rip those, fibers, you need to push. So push. It's time to push. Did I say it enough? It's time to push. Yeah, time to push. And then we'll see what happens in January. We'll see what happens. New clean slate, new energies, new programs. Many beautiful things ahead in 2018. Many beautiful things. So it's really important for the rest of December to clean our own closets. Get rid of the fears. Trust your instincts. It's also time to stop going outwards and accusing people. No. If you disagree with someone's behavior or what they're saying, fine, put a boundary. Don't accuse them. And also being aware that words have high vibrational impacts. Words are very powerful on all levels, in your brain, so in your mental body, and in your spiritual body, so in the energetic levels. If you keep using the same negative words, guess what you're manifesting? You're manifesting just that. If you keep using the same positive words, guess what you are manifesting? You are manifesting just that. So we need to realize that a word has a very powerful impact on our lives on all levels. So if complaining about something is not the right thing to do, acknowledging it, accepting it. If it's hard, it's hard. If it's hard, if you're having a hard time, you're having a hard time. Accept it. Accept yourself while having a hard time. Open your heart to your own self having a hard time. Saying, I may not be working at my best right now, but I'm working. Just accept it. Go through with it, doing the best you can. Show up for yourself. Because if you focus on the negative, you're blocking it. You're blocking yourself and your own energy. You're creating a block. So it's not the right thing to do. I think that is it for this video. So thank you for being here. If you would like to book a reading with me, you can do so using my Facebook page at Indigo Girls Readings, or using my email indigogirl555@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for the comments, the likes, and reach out. Take care. Bye-bye.